What if I told you the more greedy your mana base is, the stronger your cards can get? Hey everyone, I'm Corjo and as always CJ, welcome to Commander Class episode 166, and today we're going to be talking about Domain, and not Domain expansion like in Jujutsu Kaisen. A mechanic that pretty much just says play every land you can think of and get benefits for it. But what is Domain? So Domain is an ability word that counts how many different basic land types you control, which is pretty much a plains, island, swamp, mountain and forest. And then the more types you have, the more powerful this keyword becomes. So you can pretty much go from 1 all the way to 5. And trust me, when you've done it with all 5, it feels quite amazing. But there are some example of cards if you can't think of any, and I will be showing them on screen. You get cards just like Sphinx of Clear Skies, Scorn of Draco, Brewery Hydra, Collective Restraint, Draco, Drag to the Bottom, Leyline Binding, Herd Migration, Llanowar Green Widow, Prismatic Geoscope, Raiders Firebrand, Traditional Carver. A lot of these are great for removal and great for ramp. We have some big creatures, and the thing I like about Domain is that it is spread across nearly everything. But why is Domain good? First off, it scales. So again, if you're playing early or a mono or dual colored deck, it's a little bit weak. But the more turns that pass, the more lands you get, the more cards you play, the more powerful it becomes. And when you're playing more lands per turn, because you're doing that anyway, there is a better payoff pretty much for just doing how you normally do in your turn. So if you want really powerful cards, Domain is a good way to go. However, there is a few little things wrong with Domain. One, it also depends on your mana base. A big problem with it is if you keep drawing lands that you don't kind of have, like if you keep not getting forest but getting your dual lands or something like that instead, you're still waiting for a forest card. So when it comes to decks that have Domain, you kind of need mana fixing. So ever so often a Domain card will just sit in your hand because you're waiting for it to be that little bit more powerful. So you need to learn when to play it and when to hold on to it. And the biggest problem with it is best in a WUBRG deck. So you can play it in a mono, dual or tricolor deck. However, the more colors the better. When it comes to WUBRG is personally where I would say then play it. Anything less, you might get away with a 4-color deck, but anything less, not really worth it in my opinion. But for me, I do think that Domain is an actual cool ability. There's just not many cards that have it, and you kind of need it in a WUBRG deck only. Domain is really good for smart deck builders building a very smart WUBRG deck. If you're just throwing stuff together, even in a WUBRG deck, I don't think it's really worth it that much. But when you do play it, you feel quite powerful. Domain is also, in my opinion, not beginner friendly. So there is that little problem there. So it kind of sits in the middle ground when it comes to playability. It is strong, but it is quite risky and you have to kind of have a WUBRG deck with mana fixing. But my overall thoughts when it comes to Domain is I'm going to give it a 6.4 out of 10. It's powerful, it's fun, but it's kind of a workaround or that you need to kind of focus it in some form of way. It's not a card you can really throw in. But as always, let me know what you think of Domain in the comments down below. If there's anything I missed, let me know too. If you have a deck that Domain is a focus in it, show me your deck on Moxfield or any of those websites. And as always, remember to like, subscribe and do all that YouTubey stuff. And if you like this video, I have last week's Commander class here, a playlist of all the Commander classes I make here, and a subscribe button here, and I will see you all in the next video.